Hi friends, Callie Chaplow here, HEAV's Director of Government Affairs, and I have the special and unique treat of joining Delegate Nick Freitas, a homeschool hero, here on the House of Delegates floor. So.
Well, no, thank you very much. Again, we've homeschooled our kids. Our oldest is 22, graduated and out. Our son Luke he's headed off to the military actually next week, and then our youngest daughter Allie will be graduating this year. And so it's been an incredible homeschool journey, and can't say enough good things about HEAV and the work that they've done here in Virginia. I think a lot of parents, as we were talking about this earlier, a lot of parents became familiar with homeschooling during COVID.
Yeah.
And there's never been a better time to homeschool. The amount of resources that are available, the amount of free resources that are available. You'll never find a group of people that want you to succeed more than homeschool organizations and parents. And it really is about educational freedom and opportunity.
That's right.
Because I know one of the biggest blessings for me when it came to homeschooling our children was, I have 3 kids. All of them learned differently. All of them have different interests. All of them had different objectives. And to be able to just switch curriculums or switch what we wanted to emphasize on based off of, meeting their needs was an incredible advantage within homeschooling.
And when they have an interest, you can just fly with it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And then I would say the other thing that I think people need to understand, though, is that as it gains in popularity, it will attract more interest from politicians, especially those who are not friendly to homeschooling. I think what people need to understand, I think most people look at this as, look, if you want to homeschool. If you don't, what's the big deal? You need to understand that that is an ideology that is rooted in the idea of individual liberty, individual freedom, and you being able to make your own decisions. And that's great. I think most people associate the United States with being able to make those kinds of decisions. There's an entirely different ideology out there that is rooted in this idea that children should be both not just educated but raised collectively. This whole "it takes a village" notion is it's not some friendly idea that of course we all help each other with the raising of kids. Like, all of us can understand where we help each other out. That's not what this is. It's the idea that the state should be taking the primary responsibility for the education, the socialization, the worldview of your children. And homeschooling presents a threat to that. And so they're never going to come here and come right out and say, we just want to get rid of homeschooling. No, it's always going to be in the interest of safety or compelling state interests. And what you need to understand is it really is rooted in an idea that you as the parent are not considered the primary caregiver or the person primarily responsible for the raising, upbringing, and direction of your child's education. They think the state should play that role. It's fine if you provide clothes on their back, a roof over their head, and food, but honestly, they want the state to play a much larger role, and not just the education, but the raising of your child.
Right. And if you co-parent with the government.
Yes, and if you are not actively paying attention to that, you will wake up one day and you will think, there's no way they would do that. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And they're not doing it because, they think they're out to get you. No, they think they're helping. They think they're helping because in the world that they imagine, the state is educating the children to be proper citizens. And okay, that sounds interesting, but look, there's been a lot of societies that have, throughout history, attempted to take authority and power away from parents, invest it into the hands of bureaucrats, of politicians, of the state, and always to really disastrous results. And so I think it's really important for everyone to understand out there, especially people that are new to this and wondering what it's all about. This really is about you having the freedom and the opportunity to be able to customize an education for your child in accordance with their objectives and the sort of life that they would like to live and the sort of values you would like to impart. And if you are assuming that will always be protected by this body, I can assure you that about half of them are not interested in protecting that. In fact, they consider it a threat to their objectives. And so we need you to be involved. I know it's difficult enough trying to homeschool kids, especially we have multiple kids.
We've been there.
Yeah, but we desperately need you to be involved. And I can tell you right now, one of the best ways to do that is to partner with organizations that have the knowledge. They know how this place works. They know who the people are that are carrying legislation. They know what sort of arguments need to be made. And if you want to maximize the effectiveness you can have in advocating for this, join with organizations that are down here all the time, putting in the time, and really understand just how to make sure. Because again, Senate Bill 1031, that was going to drastically alter your home education rights in a way that no other bill that I've seen in the last 10 years would have. And had it not been for organizations like HEAV that were rallying people, getting them to send letters to testify, that bill would have passed. And so please stay involved and join with the organizations that are going to maximize your involvement.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's
pleasure.
exactly right. I mean, at the beginning of this, we came out of the box saying this was an attack on all homeschoolers, all parents, and parental freedom. And we heard even from among our ranks at the beginning, no, this is just the religious exemption. And very quickly, the mask came off, and we saw that this was an indeed attack on everybody's privacy, everybody's parental rights.
It's called incrementalization. Right? They will always start with something that they think can alienate and divide people. And so it's like, oh, well, this doesn't impact you. Why do you care? This doesn't even impact, this is just for this one group that we're trying to do. And the next thing you know, once the policy is in place, it expands to include everybody. Because the big problem that they have is not with a particular piece of homeschooling. The big problem they have is with any sort of educational opportunities that...
Oh, did we lose?
Yeah.
Okay, and then do you want to show us too here while we're on the House floor, just how it runs real quick?
So to give you an idea, this is the House floor. This is where the 100 members of the Virginia House of Delegates sits. Up there on the top is where the speaker's chair and dais is. You'll see like the large video screens we have up here. Well, this is the voting board, so this will let you know what order of business that we're on. Let you know how everybody votes. We have cameras all over the House floor, so when somebody gets up to speak, we have an opportunity for people to be able to watch from home, keep an eye out on what we're doing. Also, if you decide you want to come in, you'll notice the gallery up here. Again, we love it when constituents and concerned citizens come down and keep an extra close eye on us in person. But yeah, that's just an idea of, there's something I would say especially unique about the Virginia House of Delegates. We are the oldest continuous serving legislative body in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
I remember the first time, 10 years ago, the first time I came into the House of Delegates and I was going through orientation. And I got here early because I'm a military guy, and if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And Jay Braxton came in and Jay Pearson, our Sergeant-at-Arms, and they said, well, Delegate-elect, if you could just stand here for a second, we're going to go find the other delegate-elects. And there was this moment where I was alone in this room.
Oh, how
and I remember thinking, there's got to be a mistake. There's got to be a mistake. But to be here in the House of Delegates to represent James Madison's district,
wow.
It's an incredible honor. So as frustrating as I get with sometimes the people and the policies, the institution.
It is a sacrifice. It's a true. Your whole family makes a sacrifice.
They
so
do.
Thank
They
you.
do, yeah.
And then you would show us real quick just the buttons and the microphone.
Oh, sure. So right here, we have our microphone. So if you want to speak, you hit your request to speak button. This is our page button. We actually have a very old program. It's over 100 years old. There's a page program where 13 and 14-year-olds can come, and they actually assist us during the legislative session. They learn all about government. And so you can request your page, your request to speak. Rule 69, that's kind of like our abstain button.
Yeah, it's a unique House rule.
It is, but we're really only supposed to use it if there's a conflict of interest. So if we're voting on a budget amendment that maybe impacts an industry that we're involved in, we're supposed to abstain. But we're not really supposed to use that for any other reason. It's not a
no vote.
It's not a
like
get out of it's not a get out of voting button, right? It's that, and then of course no and yes, and typically I wear out my no button quite a bit. There's been some jokes that you could just replace all the buttons for me with just the speak button and no.
That's great. Yeah, thank you so much for taking this time with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, my son did the Senate page program.
Yeah,
so.
my daughter did as well.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of the House. But
yeah, me too. Yeah.
But it's really a great program, so look into that. And hopefully, if you're available, I know you have a busy schedule. We'd love to have you at our convention in June. And
please.
Thank you for being you and your wife both are just such outspoken leaders in the homeschool and parental freedom.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Well, thanks, guys. Good seeing you.